Today I'm going to take you on a tour of our cold pantry. It has, I would say, about 6 months worth of food for our family of 7. Let's take a look. This is a real life pantry tour. Guys, I am not self-sufficient. I want to be in my head, but I'm not. We still shop at the grocery store, but I really do try to buy as much as I can in bulk. And I've really mastered storing that food, so it makes it easy for our family to use. I have learned a lot in the last 2 years. I can picture myself bringing that big grocery haul into here for the first time. And I plan to share all my tips and tricks with you and show you everything that we have right now. So we are in our cold pantry. We live in Texas. It gets real hot here. We don't have basements or root cellars. So this was my solution for being able to store some of our food in a better environment instead of somewhere kind of hot. Let's get started with the shelves, because this is really this is the prime area. It takes up the most real estate and really holds the most food. Everyone loves this area. It is an eye catcher and it's really fun for me and the kids to use. It is our gravity bins. By far the easiest thing to use. I'm not having to open up Gamma Seal lids. I can send the kids in and they can crank it and do it. I keep some beans in here and rice and oats. We really go through the oatmeal the most. I have an empty one and I just haven't figured out what I'm gonna do with it yet. For me, I don't wanna rush into always feeling the need to fill up our store. We got through this finally and I just wasn't using it as much as I like. So I'm gonna leave it empty for now and try to figure out what dry good am I gonna use a lot. I've tested out some, there's a video on that. Just things that I wanna put in here don't work very well. So stick with me on that one or drop some ideas for me, because I just don't know what else to put in here. And I hate it just sitting here. I don't really have a rhyme or reason for why I put things in certain places. I do try to theme it up a little bit, but for me, the most consistent thing, just put it in the same spot every time, because I've had one of the kids come here and organize before and then I couldn't find anything. So consistency is key. Put the same things in the same spots. I do like putting things that you use together, like tomato sauce with the pasta. That's just easy for me to go and grab. But not everything is set up that way, but things like that make it more helpful. Right here I have all of our nuts and seeds. I know they're all in this row. And then across here is our freeze-dried. I have some freeze-dried milk and tons of freeze-dried eggs. I think I've got 5 of these full. So we have our own chickens, and look how golden that is. Can y'all see that? Okay, the freeze dryer helps me put it away and we take it with us camping, or in the winter when it gets a little darker and we need more eggs. I can come in here and I can do this. Or maybe we have family and friends who we're visiting and we want to bring eggs and then I end up falling short. I know at home I always have eggs, so it's okay for me to share. A really great snack I freeze dry is all the fruit. So I have 4 jars of freeze dried strawberries. So delicious. We will put these on oatmeal. My tip for freeze drying is to do all the same fruits or vegetables or whatever you're doing at the same time. I've not had luck mixing things. So when you do it all, one batch of strawberries or one batch of apples, you will get to fill a lot of jars at one time. So that's kind of fun. And then another tip is, since we do go through these quickly, I did not use an oxygen absorber, but I do have one of those vacuum seal tops, and it seals it and it works really good. It's not gonna pop off. So I use that with almost everything. So we are big pasta eaters here. I've got some pad thai noodles. We'll do peanut butter noodles with that. Just again, our pantry's not perfect. I'm not making everything from scratch. And I'm not wasting food. If I brought it into the home, for the most part, we're gonna eat it at some point. I do try to buy organic when I can, or when our budget allows, but sometimes we just can't, and that's okay. I've got tons of pasta. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 pounds of pasta. Plus I have eggs and flour, so if I need to make more noodles, I can make egg noodles. And then in the back is that I just have jars of ready-made sauce, Alfredo sauce and tomato sauce. like a spaghetti sauce. All right, what you will notice if you make it all the way through this whole video is that I don't have a few important ingredients in this pantry. The thing is, I cannot keep the following ingredients in this cold pantry. They clump and they really just don't perform well in here. So I keep them in our bedroom pantry at room temperature. That is all of our flours for making bread, all purpose, all of that stuff, our sugar and our salt. All of that food stays in my bedroom because the salt ended up being the solid rock and the flour really was too wet to do the baking that I wanted to do with it. So it's not in here, but it is in the house. In my head, I want to make more things from scratch, but I also have 5 kids and run a homestead and a YouTube channel, and you know how it is. Everybody is so busy. So I'm trying to just be realistic with the challenges of, making as much as I can. And when I can't, I try to buy cleaner ingredients or just what I can get my hands on, because we are very remote. So getting to food sometimes is a little bit hard. So that's my top shelf. For the most part, all of the kids but the little ones can reach everything on this. Then on this next row, this is all of our pickles. Guys, my garden last year was so sad. I tried to grow cucumbers and we literally got like 3. I have no idea. Like the year before we had hundreds of cucumbers. So we did not can any cucumbers in 2025 and it was a little depressing, but it's okay. We go to the grocery store and we've got a couple jars of pickles. That is something that if we run out, it's not a big deal like to our menu. It's more of like something nice to have. I also got some canned peppers. It's not really a favorite, but I think it's something if I want to throw it into a soup or something, it just gives it a little bit more kick. And then this area, this is something I can grow. That's what I want you to know, is that if it's something that interests you, you can go to the grocery store and can it and put it on your shelf. And that's okay, you have that food there, but you have that skill. And if one day you want to go grow something, immediately, how to put it away. So it's all about practicing. So these 2 items I did not grow. I went to the store and I bought green beans. Most of the green beans I did grow, we ate fresh. So I didn't even have enough to can. I just think start learning those skills. We have so many jars of green beans and carrots. So for me, most of our meals I do outside of breakfast, we mostly do a fruit with breakfast, but all of our lunches and dinners, I always pair 1, 2, or 3 vegetables depending on what we're having. So I will keep these on the shelf. When I show you the freezer, you'll see that we have some more frozen vegetables. We'll go through the freezer ones first because I'm always trying to clear out space in the freezer because we always have chickens coming in. If I want to buy, a 1/16 or a quarter of a cow, I need to make room in there for that. But right now it's jam-packed, so I can't bring anything in. We will need to get through that food first. I've got some dried red bell peppers. So good in soups. I like having those on hand because bell peppers just don't last very well in the fridge. They don't stay fresh long. So this gives me some more options. I do have diced tomatoes. Like this little area is kind of my tomato area. I've got tomato sauces and tomato paste. So I try to keep the jars on hand to balance out what I have in the freezer. We did grow some paste tomatoes last year and I had a large harvest, but I did not have the energy to put it away. So I cleaned them, I bagged them, and I put them in the freezer. So I can make my own tomato sauces and diced tomatoes and all that if I need to, if I want to clear out space. But if I'm in a hurry, I want to have this on hand. I don't want to put myself up against the wall and not be able to make dinner. So the way we do dinner here is I don't really have a lot of like fancy meals or anything. We do have some go-to soups, but I always have the ingredients ready to go. So when I put it together, it's really quick that night. So all of these allow me to make really quick dinners. We have some organic green chilies. Again, that goes into our soups. All right, so after the chilies is kind of my spice area. I do have some freeze-dried onions here, but I don't know, it's more of a spice for like adding to a soup or something. And then everything, I think that's the hardest thing, is things go so far back and you can't always see things, but I can reach pretty well in here. I've got garlic, cumin, turmeric. I mean, every spice you can imagine I have in here. We really use a lot of spices when cooking because it just can change your flavor so quickly. I do a lot of our whole chickens. I'll do a coriander, salt and pepper. So easy, so delicious. But then I can shred that chicken and turn it into an Italian meal, a Mexican meal, whatever you want, you know, put it on a taco. It leaves it versatile, so I'm not stuck with just, you know, spicy Mexican flavors. And I can't turn it into like an Alfredo chicken type thing. So I always say keep it super simple and then dress it up when you're putting it together. So we're on the third shelf. This is really the shelf that probably the kids really get to the most. We have all of our jams and jellies, and my goal this year is, so last year I made the goal to make all of our own bread products, and I did that probably like 99% of the year, outside of like traveling and then a few like emergencies or something, we'd have to buy bread, and that was okay. So my goal to add this year is, we do a lot of peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, is to make all of our own jelly and our own peanut butter. So I'll show you the peanuts that I buy. And the key here is I'm still gonna keep some like store-bought things on hand, because, you know, life happens and maybe I can't ground up the peanut butter, or we need to, I don't know, we just might need it or whatever. So the goal is to stay ahead on all the jams and jellies, but if not, I'll have some backup stuff there. Right now I've got like 20 pounds probably of peanuts. So instead of, they don't really store on here, I store them in the freezer, and I'll be doing a video on how I make my peanut butter if you want to check that out. The next thing we have is our applesauce. So the crazy thing here is that the kids like my applesauce better than the store-bought applesauce, and they keep begging me to do more because we're on our last 3 jars. So I have 40 pounds of apples in the corner over here that I'll show you, and then I've got another like 60 or 80 pounds of apples coming. I can't remember what I ordered. I think it's 60 pounds of apples, and then I also have 20 pounds of pears, so we can make some pear sauce. But I really need to get on that. I've been procrastinating, but that will fill this row once I get that done this week or next week. So this is a little bit more fruit here. It is our pear slices. Nothing crazy. We've been eating on those this last month because the kids have been craving it, and I was out of pears. So I like keeping canned food on hand. It makes it easy and ready to go. And sometimes I'm just not in the mood to do canning, and having those, which I'll show you down there, is another set on hand, is really nice. As I work my way down, we've got some random grains that I've like acquired over time. We really don't use them enough. My goal also this year is to get through some of these foods we don't use a lot of and don't buy them again. That was like a huge lesson for me, is I brought in a lot of food, and then I realized I was just buying a lot of stuff because it was for sale and not because we actually use it, or maybe we had like one recipe I was trying and we were gonna use that, and then we didn't like the recipe. So I've just kind of stopped. I'm not doing new recipes. I'm doing really simple food. If it's something that I have to go and just one-off buy, I probably won't use that recipe very much. It has to go in more than like one food. So I have some like emmer grains, spelt grains. We just don't eat them. So I don't know what we're gonna do, but we'll have to work our way through it because I really don't like wasting food. I've got some einkorn berries. Again, another like good intention. I have a grain mill. Have I used it? No, I have not used it. So at some point I keep saying I'm gonna make my own grains and do some bread for like sourdough with them and all of that. Haven't done it. It's okay. My husband loves this black rice. So we do go through this, maybe like 1 bag a month tops. We will do like meatballs with it, or he likes, I cannot remember if it's like shrimp or something else that he does, but he really likes this. And then I have a couple other random grains. Again, not things that we use very frequently, but if I'm trying to mix it up, or just, I do have those one-off recipes, it's nice to have on hand, and they, you know, they're pretty shelf stable. Can you see it way back there? The thing that is hard for me with this like deeper shelves, like I think I wish I had narrow. Sometimes I wish my shelves were narrower, but then I'd have like this huge walkway and that would be wasted space. So I can't complain. Back here I have some like bulk beans, bulk white rice, and then some oat flour. Again, things we don't use a lot. I mean, this section here is probably one that could be replaced with like something that we actually eat, but it's gonna be okay. Okay, and then in the very, very back here is, I call them my emergency bean stash. We probably will not eat those in our regular rotation, but if there were to be an emergency and I need food for a long period of time, I have some on hand. And you know, you never can be too prepared. It's definitely would not last us a very long time. I think it's like 40 pounds tops of beans, like 12, and I don't even think it's that much, maybe like 20 or 30 pounds of beans. But I think you should just start slowly stockpiling a few things, and then those are like the cheaper Great Value brand. I think I got one at Sam's dollars to buy. So to me, I was worth spending $5 or $10 to put it away, and if we were to need it, it's there. If I have to throw it away in a few years, then I'm okay with that. All right, these are just some basic canned food, beans, green beans. I went through a period where I had bought like pallets of food from Azure Standard that was canned, so I would have it on hand. I've slowly learned more about pressure canning, so I kind of pressure can my own beans. But again, they're here if we need them, or maybe someone's doing a food drive or a family is, you know, having a hard time. I can easily come in here and feel comfortable like gifting these to someone or giving them to them. I don't know, it just doesn't hurt to have on hand. That's kind of my theme for all of this. And then this is kind of our junk drawer. It is our junk drawer. We have cereal bars, just random things that we collect from our travel. So like if we go on a long road trip, obviously I can't bring a lot of like baked goods and things with us. We buy some of this stuff. I'll just show you this area down here real quick. It's kind of hard to fit everything. All of our condiments we use here. Again, I have tomatoes, so we can make our own ketchup if we need to. If this runs out, we're okay. We don't have to have it to eat our food. This was from a birthday party. I kept it on hand. And this is chicken broth and beef broth. I make a lot of this. I drink 8 ounces of chicken bone broth every single day. I used to supplement with like a collagen powder, but it was getting expensive, and I was like, what is this even? Like, I don't want these man-made ingredients or something that I have to wait for someone else to give me. So I soak the bones and I do all of that. I will do a video on everything that I do because my hair has gotten so much thicker. My nails have gotten stronger. It's delicious. It's so easy to do. And to put it away, I do pressure can it, and that makes it shelf stable. I've got lime juice, lemon juice, pineapple juice, coconut water, all of these things. I make smoothies. I do the turmeric and ginger. It's called jamu. It's really good with the coconut water with the electrolyte. This is the last section. These are our vitamins for the kids. And then in here, you can't see it, but it's a beef, like organ blend vitamin. I was having a lot of issues, like female issues that just wasn't regular. And as I've started taking it, I've improved drastically. I feel more regulated and my menstrual cycle is much more predictable. So I don't know if it's true or not, but it's working for me. And then down here at the end is just like random canned food that I've acquired over time. Along with this bin down here, there's just not a space in the, you know, on the shelf for this stuff. So I kind of throw it down here, and I know there's random things. And then across the bottom, I had been making my bread with canola oil. I know there are some European countries that use it, and their canola oil is much more regulated and cleaner than what we can find here. This is a very, very clean option. It's organic, it's cold pressed. So I don't know, I'm not really that much against it, but I have switched to butter. It has a few more nutrients in it that I want us to get if we're gonna have bread. So I might use it, I might not, I don't know. I just keep potatoes or whatever in here. And then down here, it's heavy, are all of our sweet potatoes that I grew. And I keep them in this basket. My husband made this from like one of those pallet crates. And I don't know, I think it's really beautiful. I want more of them, but as you can tell, I need to make more room. Down here at the end is, we have 2 of these gallons of maple syrup. This is what I'm talking about buying in bulk. So it's a lot cheaper when you buy maple syrup, like by the gallon. What we're gonna do, because once you open it, it's gonna lose some of its like potency over time and all of that and its nutrients. I'm gonna show you how I put it into jars that make them easier to use for like week to week. But I'm gonna teach you how to seal them back up and make them shelf stable. So then when you break them out, you have more usable sizes. But again, you can save, you know, hundreds of dollars, you know, maybe not hundreds of dollars on maple syrup, but you know what I mean. You could save tens of dollars. Okay, and then down here is our pork lard. I've got 2 of these. I make tortillas pretty much exclusively with this. I am switching again this year. I will not be buying this after it's out. It's gotten really expensive, and I'm still trying to be more like dependent on what I can do. I bought some lard from a farm that's not that far from us that does like the pastured, no soy, no corn. They move them around, and I really enjoyed like buying products from them. So I will be making my own lard, and it's gonna get interesting. But I plan to share that process with everybody. I just need to work through it one time and make sure I know what I'm doing, and then I will share it with you. Lastly is some coconut oil. I feel like that's a lot of food and I'm not even done showing you everything. Okay, so these are the bulk food that I have not put away into storage yet. I have like lots of oats. I've got corn in one of them. I've got some whole wheat berries for the bread that I was gonna make. And some of these are empty. I have more oats coming in. They're not, these two are empty, but this is where I keep like beans or anything that I buy like 25 pounds of and it doesn't all fit into like one of my containers or into jars. I will put them in here and put them in those Gamma-Seal lids because it makes it a lot easier to get to, and then it keeps it airtight. And then right next to the bulk storage is I have our freeze dryer. My husband built this and it's on like caster wheels so we can move it around. The water catchment, and then the like motor part that runs it. And then I have a couple of bottles of like vinegar and apple cider vinegar and some fertilizer stuff. So this is nice because it also stores like just different little things in here. Let's spin around to the other side. This area is a little bit of a mess, but I don't know where else to store this. We live in less than 1,000 square feet, so this is really a useful space for all of our food. These boxes are egg cartons for when we sell eggs. And then over here in these bins are all of our freeze-dry food. We've got beans, eggs, meats, lots of fruit and vegetables. So I keep those over here in case we need them, and they're easy to grab and go if like we want to go camping with it. All right, these areas aren't as exciting as that whole shelf. Like that is really the bread and butter. But this is all of our canning supplies and all of our storage supplies. So I have regular lid, wide mouth lid, extra ones. I mean, it's a lot. So if you see, it's like all of these. And then if I have this label on it, that means the box is empty. If it doesn't, there's jars in there. So I have all kinds of jars, from the pint jars, pint and a half, quart, and they get bigger as we go down. And then these are gallon or like half-gallon jars. And then over here is like water glass jars because my husband likes to drink out of a glass jar. More egg cartons. And then this is our packaging for when we do our meat chickens, and then some of my freeze dryer supplies here because my husband put a plug over here. So he put a plug here so I can put my sealer on here, and I can do this as like a workspace. It has been awesome actually having the freezer in here. I was a little concerned at first because I thought I would want more shelving for food, and then where were we going to put, you know, all the freezer food and all of that. But this is acting like a desk for me. So when I'm not in it, I can work on it. I can do all of our things. And so I really like having it here. All right, so we're in Texas and we do not have basements or cellars or any of that, but I wanted a way to keep our room cooler where we were storing our food and all of that. I was watching another YouTube channel and they had mentioned they had something called a CoolBot, which tricks your window unit into dropping colder than the 60 degrees. And actually mine's really dirty. I probably need to clean it. I don't have it on right now because you really wouldn't be able to hear me as well, but I keep it right now at 55. This has worked really great. No complaints. We do have this whole room. I think it's 3-inch closed cell spray foamed all the way around, top, bottom, and all the walls. The space is 8 by 15, and when I calculated what we would need, this was the size window unit. I didn't realize how big it was going to need to be, but it has worked great. I have no issues with the temperature, like it stays very accurate. All right, let's get into the deep freezer. All right, this is, for me, the hardest space to keep organized because you stack like the new stuff on top and the older stuff gets to the bottom. So you almost have to clean it out pretty regularly. We did do that before I filmed this because it was atrocious. But remember I was telling y'all that I had like peanuts? I keep them in the freezer until I am ready for them. There's a ton of food like that, like walnuts, pinto beans. Once I get them out of this freezer rotation, I can put them into like another storage thing, but I just got those probably a month ago and haven't really addressed them. So things I keep in here are anytime I make a chicken, so we do our own pasture chicken, I don't throw any of those bones or skin or anything away. I shred it and I put it into a bag. So we have several of these bags, and then I will make that collagen bone broth with them. What you're gonna wanna buy is find a good source of chicken feet. I know, it's weird, but find some chicken feet. That's where the collagen is. It is really good for you. So I have a lot of chicken feet from our chickens. You know, my husband sometimes does quick, easy. We have one bag of this and that, so when he runs out, he's gonna be in trouble. And we have, I think we counted like 40 something, possibly 40 something whole chickens left. And we keep all parts of the chicken, like the gizzards and the necks and the hearts, and the guys use them for fishing, or I've always joked, or maybe not joked, but I've always said I wanted to freeze dry them and give them to the dog, but I've yet to do that. I have a bag of ice in here. We do a lot of hunting, so it's nice. We live 30 minutes from a store with ice, really, from anything. So it's nice to just have a little bit of ice, so if we get a deer or something like that, we can have some ice on hand. Look, leftover Thanksgiving stuff is in here. It's a lot of stuff. It's a little hard to keep organized, but I'm thankful to have all this food. All of our different vegetables, whatever I can get my hands on. Some of our grocery stores don't have organic, so we just have to buy what they have available. But, you know, buying in bulk is a lot cheaper. These are our camelbacks for when we go camping. And then underneath the beans is all of our ground beef we get from that company. It's so delicious. And then I have blackberries, raspberries, blueberries, dewberries. Does anyone know what a dewberry is? The kids, we pick dewberries and they want to make a jelly or a jam, but they really prefer this bread we make. It's just really sugary. I have a whole bunch of butter in here. It's one of my favorite butters ever. Some cheeses that I freeze, and then just random things from dinner left over. These are the beef bones I use for the beef broth. There's also some knuckles in here, and I'm gonna do that and I will film it for you so you can see everything, the whole process, and you can do it yourself at home. But this has a lot of food in it. All right, and the last little area is where we keep our fruit. I can also slide it under here if I want to, but it's something the kids just run and grab for like snack time or something. I say, go get a piece of fruit. I keep it down over here on the end of the freezer. Overall, we have a ton of food. Sometimes I doubt if it's actually 6 months worth of food. Maybe it's a year, maybe it's less. I still am learning something new every day, but I feel like I've really mastered cooking lately. Like, I keep it very simple, and the kids are starting to help with that, and it makes my job a lot easier. I do have an Azure pickup coming next week. It will be, hopefully we'll have that video put together then for you. If not, it'll be the next week. But I have like $500 or $600 worth of food. It's like my final stock, and then I want to see how long does all this food last us. I really don't like going to empty because it just kind of stresses me out. If, you know, we get a hurricane here and we can't leave, I want to make sure I have enough food on hand, but I'll be able to track and kind of see how things are moving along. I've written everything down, so I want to show you. There was a clipboard over there, so I write everything down inside this clipboard, and I've been tracking it, and I'm going to just see in January to whenever, where do I get to what point. Is there anything I missed? Is there something else you want to know, or how I did something? I feel like I talked a lot, but I just feel like there was a lot to show. Maybe once you start talking about it, I didn't realize how much food I really had. I hope you enjoyed this tour. If you have any questions about, you know, anything that I showed you, or what I make with something, or how like the cool bot or cold pantry is built, please go through some of my videos, because I know we did the cold pantry, like follow along as we built it, but I can answer questions in the comment section. But this is a great first video back. I took a little break, so I'm glad to be back. I cannot wait to show you. We have so much going on. So much going on. It's going to be a great year. Happy New Year, and I cannot wait to share the rest of the year with you. As always, I will see you next week.
Go. Straight towards mom. Straight towards mom.
Straight here. Okay, go. Be safe. Be safe.